Hey everybody, Corky here. Out here sitting out in Alabama. It's a pretty nice day, so you could hear some birds singing to detract away from my low, growly voice. Pretty nice day. I thought it'd be good to sit out when I do a video today. Um, I probably would not have done this video except my sister made a comment about the fact that she said it's going to be fun to watch Corky go through his George Harrison period. And what she's referring to is a thing, and I'm going to talk about it on this video. Don't you hate public speakers gulping water? I do. But I have to do it because of allergies. The title of this video is The Beatles, India, and Ethnomusicology. If you were to come to Hamilton, Alabama, where I live, you might get to meet my grandsons. I have grandchildren here in Hamilton, Alabama. I also have grandchildren in Chesapeake, Virginia. These here in Alabama are unique in the fact that all four of these boys, each were individually named, and in their name is a clue to the Beatles. One of them is named Jet, which is a Paul McCartney song. And then the rest of them, the code, the Beatles code is in their name in some way. And this is significant because when my daughter and son-in-law first met, she got on a bus to travel with a musical group because music's a big thing in our family. She's a great singer. She got on the bus. I put her on the bus on a Monday, Chattanooga, Tennessee, one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. And she left home to go travel with a group singing. And she happened to be telling on the bus, this is the way it was told me, that her mom and daddy, me and my wife, had carried her to Liverpool, England, to a Paul McCartney concert in Liverpool, and she got to see Paul McCartney live in Liverpool. I'm told that this man, who was a guitar player for the group, turned to her and said, "You did what?" And that became one of their first conversations, and it revolved around Beatles. I left the rock and roll world in 1974 to become a Christian minister, but I didn't completely leave it because it was such an important part of my personal development. And so through the years, I've continued to be a Beatles fan, and we are legion. There's a lot of us. My mother loved the Beatles, even though she passed away the year after they came to America. My sister was a diehard Beatles fan, and she raised me to be one. So from 1964 on, actually we started listening to Beatle records before they came to America. And then when they came to America, my sister made me attend the closed circuit viewing of the simulcast of the Beatles in Washington. So even though I was not in Washington to see the Beatles in person at that time, we did watch it on a big screen in an auditorium the very same time it was happening. Because I'd entered a few years later probably 67, I started really trying to play in a rock and roll band. Um, I was interested in the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, went to see it in the theater, and saw Ravi Shankar play sitar along with his group, included a tabla player and then tambora player, so forth. No other classical music of any other nation had I been introduced to other than just the good old U.S. bluegrass country, rock and roll, so forth like that. So this is my first journey into world music. And although we were not quite prepared as young guys to have the attention span to endure Ravi Shankar's performances, nevertheless, we were interested in them, and we always had vestiges of India in the counterculture and throughout the music of the counterculture in the 60s. Um, we would find out that the Beatles would go to Rishikesh, India in February of 1968, along with Donovan, the singer Donovan, who we also had his records. And they would meet with the Maharishi and Mahesh Yogi to learn transcendental meditation. So we were interested to find that out, that they had gone as an entourage to stay at ashram, and there they were doing spiritual work. They would write a number of songs uh, in India, and George Harrison would release in 1968, March of 68, the song Inner Light, which would be the B-side of Lady Madonna. Now, this is significant to me personally because my most important music partner in the early days of playing in the bands was Alan Steele. And Alan Steele was playing drums to a very loud version of Lady Madonna 45 in his bedroom across the street from my house. I heard him playing drums. This would be the point of connection that he and I would make, and we would begin a music journey together that would last probably 5 years. We would write music together. We would play coffee houses, house parties, some other shows, and this was my important entrance into popular music. And so when the White Album came out in November of 1968, I remember one of the first times I listened to it was at my aunt and uncle's house in Stockbridge, Georgia. And I remember laying on the carpet in front of the stereo, which in those days, all the stereos were like a cabinet, and listened to the White Album for the first time. I remember also that it seemed like Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell was very popular then. But I'm told that the majority of the songs on the White Album is the representation of those songs that the Beatles wrote in India, with a few exceptions. So, all of that uh, contact that I had, though small, with Indian music, um, was always in the back of my mind. Now, years later, when I was in my doctoral studies at Fuller School of Intercultural Studies in Pasadena, California, I would delve into Native American music, and my dissertation that I graduated with in 2020, I'm told by many of the people at Fuller, very well could have been an ethnomusicology dissertation, that because I had involved the study of ethnic music and ethnic instruments in that study. So I've continued to be interested in ethnomusicology, which is the study of music in its social and cultural context. Later, when I would leave the Christian pastorate and work for 8 years with adults and intellectual disabilities, I would actually become a member of the Society of Medical Ethnomusicology, where I studied quite a bit about the healing properties of music in different ethnic contexts. Um, so now I'm teaching intercultural studies down here in Alabama at a small university, and I taught last semester world religions class, and I had to cover Hinduism. And it was very significant because at this time there was a team from the university here going to Nepal, and they just returned from Nepal. And during this time of my trying to help these students get them oriented to a Hindu context, um, I really got excited about that world. And so, being a 55-year stringed instrument player, and I play mandolin, guitar, bass, and I play dulcimer. I'm full with the banjo, things like that. But stringed instruments has always been what I've been best at. I play keyboards, but I'm not the best at keyboards, and I play drums, and I'm not the best drummer. Um, so, as situation would present itself, I was invited by a pandit of India, which is a title, a musical title, um, a guru, if you please, invited to begin training on sitar uh, in the Indian classical musical world. Uh, so it's a great honor, and I take this as a serious thing. Some may think that because of my Christian context here in the United States, that this is some type of endeavor uh, to be a missionary, and that's not the motivation here at all. Uh, I do not intend to preach in that world. My experience in the Native American context has prepared me uh, and it has helped me to understand how to uh, enter into um, a musical cultural context, and how to be a friend, and how to share, and how to allow, you know, myself to be immersed in that. And so this is something that's happening for me now. Now, am I going to India? Well, there's a couple of possibilities within a year or so of my visiting India, but I'm actually beginning my process in Wisconsin toward the end of this month, where I'll be meeting with my guru and my instructor, and he, uh, significantly enough, played at George Harrison's concert for George, the memorial service, and he was mentored by Ravi Shankar, who is the maestro that was such an important role with George Harrison and the Beatles. So that's the connection there. So ethnomusicology is the study of music in its social and cultural context. Ethnomusicologists examine music as a social process in order to understand what music is and what it means to its practitioners and audiences. So, I'm closing this video by just saying I'm headed that way, and I would like your thoughts and prayers for me as I try to become sensitive, culturally sensitive, and move forward to become a student. You say, why are you doing this at 70 years old? Well, you have to study something. And, you know, I've seen about all of Walmart I want to see. And I'm not going to be playing any golf. So I play stringed instruments. So this is a journey for me that I'm going into. My students are to blame for getting me excited about a new cultural context, and that context is the great ancient nation of India. So here we go, friends. All right, talk to y'all later. See you.